Welcome to the Evolution of Self. I'm your host, Isabel Palacios, and this is the Taking Back Your Power podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3, season 6 of Taking Back Your Power. I'm your host, Isabel Palacios, and today I'm very excited. We're going to be talking about how to feel good about yourself, how to start feeling energized, motivated about life, especially during the winter. I feel like the winter is such a good time, fall into winter, such a good time to start creating change and implementing new habits. September, October are really times for me specifically to just get super introspective and super excited about the new year. And I know that people are kind of like focused during this time on the holidays, but for me, it's like I'm focused on 2025. I'm focused on the future. So some people call it the winter arc, but it is so important to look at this time of the year, not as a year to kind of let go. And I mean, obviously there's going to be a lot of parties and a lot of festivities during this time, a lot of exciting things. But if you are somebody who's looking to change your life, definitely utilize this time of year to do it, because kind of like everyone kind of waits for New Year's, right? Everyone waits for New Year's to start something new, New Year's resolutions. The gyms are packed and people are, looking to sign up for new things and make a change. But I believe if you start implementing the changes right now in your life, come September, we're now in October, November, and through December, come January, you are going to feel like a brand new person. It is going to just catapult you to a new version of you when you didn't even think it was possible. And you're going to be doing it while everyone else is celebrating, while everyone else is having fun. You're going to implement a plan to start anew. The focus of this plan is for you to feel good about yourself, to be a motivated person. And if you're a person who's already motivated, you may say, well, I already kind of do these things. Beautiful. If you know it, maybe this episode isn't for you. But this is for the people who have felt like they have been in a rut. 2024 maybe hasn't gone the best way that you've wanted it to go. Perhaps you have felt, worried about current events. Maybe you have lost your fire. Maybe you have felt like you're not doing your best. This is for you. I have been kind of in these past couple of years in a more introspective, slow version of myself. But back in August, I began to implement changes in my life that have been so small, so easy, so minute, but I have kept up with them. And I believe that through prayer and through listening to God and allowing God to work in my life, it's kind of become almost second nature for me, because I've kind of let the divine carry me from the beginning. So I was in a place where I was feeling very drained, lethargic, dealing with PCOS symptoms, and not feeling like my best self. We moved into our new home in July, and, I was really excited about that. And then I kind of fell into a slump in August. And I realized that a lot of it was because I was running on kind of like my adrenals were just run dry. I was kind of high cortisol, high stress for a few months, beginning of 2024. And I finally said, you know what? I don't like to feel this way. I don't show up as my best self as a mom, as a wife. So I started really simple. I realized my main thing is that I miss being on an exercise routine. I was off of a routine, and I had pretty much been off of a routine since I had a baby. I feel like I never had the time to go to the gym as I used to. I loved the gym. I loved being a gym rat, but I just didn't have the time. I was a stay-at-home mom. So for a long time as a stay-at-home mom, I made excuses to not make a gym or make exercising a part of my life. And I decided I miss that part of my life. I miss doing that. It made me feel amazing every time I would work out. Obviously, the endorphins, the best. I said, I'm going to start really simple, walking. So beginning of August, I began to take my daughter out on her stroller. She's 2, almost 3. And you could say she's a little big for her stroller, but I made it work. She loves it. She loves going for walks, even though it would probably benefit her more if she was walking with me. But just for the sake of the fact that I wanted to get walking, I put her in a stroller and I started to walk around the neighborhood, listening to podcasts, listening to music. But I downloaded a pedometer on my phone and I started to track my steps. And I said, my goal first is 3,000 steps. I don't even know how much that is. I don't even know how much I have to walk to make 3,000 steps. But I got a pedometer and I saw, okay, wait a minute. If I walk from the trail behind my house all the way around the neighborhood, I will get like 2,000. So if I do that twice a day, I'll get 4,000. So what I ended up doing is I would walk in a circle. So I would get 2,000 one way and then 2,000 going back. Perfect. From there, I would get 4,000. Then for 4,000, I was like, I need to get to 8,000. So I started to do one of those walks in the morning. And then in the afternoon, when my husband would get home, we'd do a walk together. Not that same day, but if I went to grocery store, I would park all the way in the back of the parking lot so I can get steps. So what did that do? Walking helps your endurance. Walking helps your circulation, your energy levels. It burns a lot of calories, even though it's not a lot. If you can use a treadmill, great. But I just focus on walking, getting steps in. And if you're from Europe, you're probably like, that's insane. Because in Europe, you walk way more, or in other countries, you walk way more. Here in Texas, where I live, everything is car. So to actually get steps in, you have to make the conscious effort to get steps in or to work out. I wish I lived in a walkable city, but I don't. So I started like that. And the more I walked, I made it part of my daily routine. I made it a non-negotiable. If I don't go out for a walk, I feel weird. It has literally become my identity to go for walks. I will strap my toddler. Sometimes she wants to go in the stroller. Most of the time she does. But sometimes I let her get on her own little scooter and go with me. But then she wants to run away. And then it's like I have to chase her, which not a bad idea, but kind of unsafe for her. So I put her in the stroller. If anything, I walk as much as possible. And then when I'm home and I'm doing things around the house or I'm cooking, I love to cook. If I am cooking, I will do some squats. I will get on my rebounder, which is a little trampoline, and I will do 2 minutes of that for some lymphatic drainage. Look it up. It's amazing. And I will just find a way to get exercise in. And I used to be so in my mind about it. I used to say, no, I have to get up early and go to the gym and do this and this and that. It has to be a routine and perfect. Now it's I don't want it to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm very much a perfectionist. I'm a type of person where it's if it cannot be perfect, I'm not going to do it, which is self-sabotage, right? But I had to work through that because I'm the adult now, right? I cannot be letting life take me. I have to take ownership of my life. You start to see the difference. You start to feel the difference. You start to see how your clothes fit you. You feel lighter. You feel stronger when you start walking. I would find any little time throughout the day where I can do some squats, I can do some sit-ups, I can do, even wall sits for 5 minutes, whatever I can do, just anything. It doesn't have to be the gym. It's just being active. It's anything that will keep me from sitting on my phone and scrolling or reading the news or not doing anything or vegging out, right? Instead, I'm going to take the times that I have to do a little bit of work, and it's called the compound effect. A little workout, 5-minute spurts throughout the day is going to end up to 30-minute workout throughout your day, and you weren't at a treadmill for 30 minutes. It was just you around your house or you in your office. Instead of taking a smoke break, I know there's not many people that smoke nowadays, but when everyone else is taking a smoke break, take a 5-minute walk. It's better than nothing. So that was my mindset. Anything is better than nothing. I always felt like I was too busy to cook. I love to cook, as I said, but I would kind of find any little reason, and my husband doesn't help. He is a huge junk food person. He loves sweets. He loves fast food. And he is so quick to say, Isabel, if you don't feel like cooking, don't worry, we'll eat out. He loves to just be nice that way. But then I told him, I need to cook at home. I cook healthier. I cook with avocado oil, olive oil. I make sure that I'm putting nutrition in my body and I enjoy it. So cooking is a huge ritual for me now. And if you don't have time to cook every single day, Meal prep. I am not in a season of meal prepping, but I probably will start doing it very soon. But I do cook large meals so that I have leftovers for the next day. And so I'll have either lunch for the next day or dinner for the next day. Usually it's lunch because it's not enough for us three for dinner again. My husband doesn't eat lunch at home, he eats lunch out. So for me, it's like cooking gives me the power to really be intuitive with what I eat. That was a big change. I make sure that my plates are half veggies and then 1/4 protein and 1/4 like a starchy carb, like a sweet potato or potatoes. So I'm very cognizant of that. I eat a huge breakfast in the morning that's like very protein rich. I always go for 30 grams of protein per breakfast. I was always very aware of eating healthy and eating whole foods, especially through my pregnancy. But life happens, life gets in the way. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to have fun cooking, look up new recipes, enjoy. For me, cooking for someone is my favorite way to express love to someone. I love to cook for people. So I made that part of my routine, that instead of eating out or maybe I'm craving something, I will look up the recipe and make it for myself, maybe in a more low carb way, higher protein, all that stuff. And just doing these little two things, right? Diet and exercise, not even diet, just being more cognizant and more aware of what I'm eating less of the bad, eating more of the good, more high protein. My hormone levels are doing so much better. My energy levels are better. I'm able to regulate my stress more. I sleep better. And these are only changes I've been doing for over probably about 2 months now. So it's not even that much. So the reason I talk about this is I'm showing you how these simple things that you can do to create change starting now in October all the way till January will create more momentum for you than if you start on January 1st. The winter is already a very introspective time. You spend more time indoors, you spend more time with family or more time just reflecting, I guess you could say. And so this is the best time to start something new. Don't put it off until tomorrow or put it off until Monday or put it off until the new year. You can start right now with where you are, and that's how you create a new beginning in your life. You don't have to have the clock tell you it's midnight on January 1st in order for you to create change and create momentum wherever it is that you want to go in life. What's really important is that you say, I am tired. You have to finally be tired. You have to be sick of how your life was going up until now. You have to get tired of feeling the way you were feeling. You have to get sick of your old circumstances. And only then, when you want the new life enough, only then can you stick to these things. That's the message that God has put on my heart. You need to be healthier. You need to take care of your one body. You need to take care of your health right now that you're young and keep taking care of it. Because I also think down the road, when my daughter is older, I don't want to be a burden on her. I don't want to be full of health issues. There are things that are going to happen outside of my control, but I always want to make sure that I'm doing my part. In having this routine, it's something that can be easily adaptable. I can do this easily and have this in mind, whether I'm here at home or I'm traveling or anything throws my routine for a loop. I can walk, right? I can walk and that will keep me on pace. That's good enough. Trying to get enough steps in, 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. That's my goal. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. That's okay. As long as I'm aiming for that every single day, that's good enough for me at this point in my life. Eventually that may change. But if I'm here or I'm in Tokyo or I'm wherever, at least I know I can control the steps that I do, right? Even if I have to walk in circles, I will do that. Secondly, is my nutrition, taking care of what I'm eating. I always have in mind half the plate is vegetables, the other two protein and a starchy carb, right? So I always have that in my mind. It's easy. It's not like I have to stick super strict in counting my macros. I don't do that. I make sure that I am just looking at things from a healthy and adaptable perspective. Nutrition over anything else. And even if I do have to eat out, I have it in mind and I feel so much better instead of just eating whatever and being more intuitive about what I'm putting in my body. So the next part of this is you have to have some kind of grounding, either prayer, meditation, reading the Bible, getting into scripture, or just being more mindful and having a relationship with God. Anytime something pops off in my life, I go straight to God. I don't go to anyone else. I go straight to God. I'm driving, I'm in the middle, somewhere public, I will just say a prayer in my mind. And then when I'm home and I have my alone time, I'll get out my prayer journal and I will write down my prayers and I'll write down what's worrying me. And I have that open communication and I welcome the divine to come in and guide me through whatever it is I'm going through. That has helped my stress and anxiety more than anything. I am a person, I am very prone to stress. I'm a very sensitive person. And allowing God to step into my life instead of trying to control everything has been the biggest game changer. I mentioned that in my first episode, that my relationship with God has given me so much confidence, has given me so much motivation because I feel like God has guided me through so much already. And a lot of this has been behind the scenes. I didn't talk about this for a long time, but there are so many times where I felt lost or I felt scared or uncertain, and I gave it to God. And looking back, I see how the dots connected and how his plan was just there the whole time. And for someone who is listening and may not be religious or not believe in what I'm talking about, try it. Try it and see how it feels. Because prayer, even if you're like, God, I don't even know if you exist. I don't even know who I'm praying to. I don't know. Just open it up. Open up that dialogue and see what happens. And in that way, you're carried, right? You're not alone on this life change. We're all in this together, but also know that divine is supporting you in that you will get through all these things. You will get through whatever difficulties you're facing. You just have to start small. The Compound Effect is a really good book as well to get into. Atomic Habits, those two books are really beautiful. But I also like to add the spiritual aspect to those ideas, that we have to have a connection to the divine so we can be carried through these changes. So you will create a beautiful life that you love this winter. You will start to create changes in whatever it is, whether it is eating better, whether it is working out more, being more active, getting stronger, focusing on your health, whether it is mentally, spiritually. Know that you can start now. You can start reading books every single day, listening to more podcasts, whether it's your financial life as well. Start saving money every single day. Put a little bit of money into a savings account, whether it's paying off debt, right? The debt snowball. Start off with your smallest debt first. Start paying it off every single day or every single week. And start doing that stuff that you've been putting off for so long and finally start implementing those changes into your life. Because if you don't start now, there's never going to be a perfect time. If you've been wanting to go after something, do it now. Every time we wait for the markets to get better or for interest rates to go down, always something happens. So make sure that you are listening and following the timeline of your life. If you've always been wanting to do something and putting it off, now is the time to do it. So remember, little by little, every single day is going to bring you so much further than if you didn't start at all, or if you tried to do a bunch in one day and then the next day you fell off. Allow the season to change. Start releasing the things that don't serve you, releasing relationships, releasing habits, releasing behaviors that don't serve you, and start implementing the ones that are going to do so much for you. Slow and steady wins the race. Trust me, if you start now, January 1st, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, wow, I changed completely for the better. I made my life so much better and I didn't even have to do much, right? It didn't even feel like much. And it gets exciting, it gets fun, and to see your progress, it's beautiful. And I think it's such a love letter to yourself. It's such a beautiful way to show up for yourself just by committing to something every single day. How much do we commit to our phones? We commit to our phones all the time because it's become like muscle memory, right? We're always on our phone. We have it right there. People walk around with their phone all the time. Like it's a part of their arm now. Can't you do that for yourself in the things that really matter? In the things that are going to do something good for you? Of course you can. I believe in you. And I know that you want this bad enough. That's why you were listening to this episode. And maybe you didn't want it bad enough, but now you're like, you know what? I need to stop playing around and get serious about my life. I only have one life and I want to make it the best that I can. And you can do it. I don't care what your past is. You can do it right now today. So take advantage. As the trees are shedding their leaves, you are shedding what doesn't serve you, and you are going to grow and be the best version of yourself come next spring. So that is it for today's episode. My beautiful angels, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, please leave a review wherever you may listen to this podcast. Leave your comments down below. If you are on YouTube or Spotify, I would love to hear from you. And share with anyone who you think might benefit from this episode. Thank you so much. And always remember this, no matter who you may be in this life, no matter what you may be going through or what you look like, always remember your true beauty, your true worth, and your true power always come from within. I love you, and I will meet you back here for the next episode of Taking Back Your Power. Bye-bye.